In today's video, we're going to try and find some interesting short squeeze setups like this one inside of Etsy. Now I'll show you how to find them first. Inside of our Stock Volatility Box live scanner, if you click our short interest page, that takes you to our short interest scanner. Now what you'll find here is not only stocks with short interest percentage, but you can also see their trend along with if they have a squeeze that's building up or not. So if you combine all three of these pieces together, that's how I think you find some really nice candidates, like the one in, say, Archer, which has recently been picking up, and of course the infamous GameStop short squeeze just a few years back. Now to get started, you can first either click short interest to just sort by columns and go through this list. You'll find, say, a few different stocks. There are a lot of names that I don't really recognize. So what I like to do instead is simply click this toggle switch right here, bullish squeeze with high short interest. That combines all three of those filters that I just talked about, places where we have a squeeze, where we have a strong bullish trend, that means all of our EMAs are stacked, and we have high short interest percentage. What I mean by high short interest percentage, greater than 10%, so double digits. Now, if we take a look at this list, we have a few interesting names here. If you've been following some of the recent pump ups, you'll notice that a lot of space stocks have been taking off. So you have Virgin Galactic at the top. I don't really like the chart of Virgin Galactic, but if we keep coming down here, there's some more other interesting ones, I think. There's Advanced Auto Parts, which is one that I like to look at, or I'd like to look at when we get to charts. And Etsy is another one. Those are the two we'll focus on in this video, but you can of course go through all of these in more detail for all of our Stock Volatility Box members. And you can also take off this toggle switch, look at all stocks, just the S&P 500, Russell, NASDAQ, Dow, whatever you want. So let's look at the two stocks we found. We had AAP, that was one which looked interesting, and we had Etsy. Now inside of AAP, let me remove every indicator that we have. And let's just take a look at the stock chart on its own. Now AAP, as of at least, November 4th, so really post-election time period, has been rallying to the bullish side. Let's see what our trend is. If I was to load in our market pulse indicator here, we can see that the market pulse, which is this line plotting on our chart, is currently in a market stage of acceleration. So that tells us we have trend on our side. Now we also have short interest on our side. If you remember inside of AAP here, we had seen 17.9% short interest. That tells us we expect AAP, if we got some sort of a gamma squeeze here, to really start to get going. So AAP, one that's interesting. But if you take a look at the volume, I'm not really too sure you would find any sort of those short squeeze moves here. Etsy looks a little bit better to me if you are looking for a short squeeze candidate. Etsy, same idea, the trend here to the upside, bullish stage of acceleration. If we switch to the weekly time frame chart here inside of Etsy, you'll notice last week we had a bullish momentum cross. So far this week we're seeing some good follow through, and we're tagging right back up into our bearish market pulse here. So now if we can see Etsy break above this market pulse here, so really if we can close one weekly candle close above, what is this, 59-ish, 59.60, 59.99 right now, so call it 60. So if we get a close above 60, then we would see this market stage switch from deceleration to either distribution or even accumulation if we close above, and that slowly starts to trickle down into acceleration. By the time that happens on the weekly time frame, you'll notice that the daily has taken off. And if we do see this gamma squeeze sort of thing here, then that would have kicked in well before that weekly time frame has had a chance to catch up. So those two are some interesting stocks. And then I'll also show you Virgin Galactic here, which if you are a little bit of a risk taker, I think there's some decent opportunities in space as well, SPCE. Now the reason I like space, we have three of these slingshot squeeze arrows. You can also see that this momentum is starting to turn. Bulls are trying, bears are defending, bulls are trying again, bears are getting weaker, bulls are getting a little bit stronger, bears come in. So far we're just seeing this back and forth tug of war. If we can see the bulls one more time take this in a decisive direction, I think again another potential short squeeze candidate here in a fairly low price stock, which is what we're seeing a lot of these short squeezes are taking place in. So one more time to recap, we used our short interest scanner inside of the Volatility Box, Stock Volatility Box platform to try and find some short squeeze candidates. We started with using this toggle switch, which really just spoon feeds you the best of the best places where you have a squeeze, a strong trend, and high short interest. If instead of just letting the platform do the work, you want to sift through a little bit, simply just click on the column headers to sort through either by trend, by squeeze, by short interest, by days to cover, by symbol if you want to just go alphabetically, whatever you'd like. There you have it, some short interest squeeze candidates and an easy way to find them using the Stock Volatility Box platform. Take care, everyone. Good luck trading, and I'll see you in our next update.